The biggest chapter in my book, Trickle Up Poverty, is about Obamacare. It's called The Health Scare Fraud, What's Really in the Bill. And I want to tell you again, if you bought the book already, please read the chapter over the next weeks or months and share it. Xerox it. I don't need the royalties, okay? Xerox it if you have to. For God's sakes, you better learn what's really in the bill. Because if you think cap and trade is bad, you're right. But if you don't really understand what this man wants to do to us with regard to Cuba-style health care, you need to educate yourself. You understand this? And it's all about Obamacare, the health scare fraud, what's really in the bill. I really want you to go out and read this chapter. It's probably the most important thing you could do between now and whenever. I know you're not going to do it immediately because you're going to take a deep breath, and I don't blame you. You need a deep breath. You understand that? I think I'm going to tell you about when I was a kid working in a pharmacy, because that made me an expert in medicine and in sociology. And it all goes back to when I was 14 working in a local drugstore in Queens, New York. And Dr. Pharmacist, the Italian immigrant from the old country who had an oversized shoe on his right leg because he had an accident as a youth, and he needed an 8-inch heel to compensate for his short leg. It is the savage nation. It's an amazing day in America. We were saved from a look, if this guy... First of all, I was wrong. Let me start with that. I was a pessimist, or shall I say too pessimistic. Remember I said 25 to 35 seats at most? I was wrong. I thought the Democrats would do what they did in Nevada and steal more seats by busing in workers. It's reported that Hispanic workers were bused to polls by Democrats and unions to vote for Harry Reid. I mean, he was down by 4 in every poll but won by 5. That's a 9-point swing. Teachers' unions in Nevada offer $25 Starbucks gift cards to every teacher in the state and gave every teacher Friday, Monday, or a Tuesday off for once-a-year teachers' conferences so every teacher could vote. Democrat. You understand this? They're all going to get future raises during a depression. And casino bosses desperately needed him in his position of power as a U.S. Senate Majority Leader so that even Republican casino CEOs in Las Vegas appeared in TV ads for Harry Reid. So you ask, how did they do it? So what I'm getting at is it's a big, big story out there, and it has to be looked at very carefully. But when I said that there would only be 25 seats, it's because I thought that they would do what they did in Nevada, more so than what we know about. I'm very pleasantly surprised that they won. Republicans are in control and they have 60 seats. And this is a huge victory. It's going to stop Obama's leftward-leaning ship. Dead in the water. His ship's dead in the water. He's going nowhere with his radical agenda. Nowhere. Obama's agenda is over. Now, he should cancel his trip to India because the Democrats were given a shellacking like you can never believe. In our lifetime, I've never seen it in our lifetime. Whether you're older or younger than me, I've never seen anything like this. And thank God the people were awakened in time. He's now going to go to India at a cost of $200 million a day, an entourage of 3,000 people with ships and airplanes and bulletproof cars, $200 million a day after this malarkey about feeling your pain. Not a good thing for him to do. And he's going to further damage any hopes the Democrats may have. So I would say, oh, good, let him go. You know what I'm going to say. They don't learn. They don't learn. He's very much like a French general was and the French generals were in World War II. He is the worst general in the history of the Democrat National Committee. In the sense, he's very much like the French generals were in World War II, who were slaughtering their men, running them into German positions that couldn't be taken. And the French were dying by the thousands, then the tens of thousands, then the hundreds of thousands. But the pig-headed French generals kept sending their men right into machine gun nests and into German artillery. And they butchered millions of Frenchmen because they were very bad generals and they were just incapable of seeing what was going on. In that regard, Obama's like a French general from World War II. I would say symbol shot, but it's not funny. We're dealing with life and death issues here, whether you know it or not. Revolutions occur in countries unlike ours on a much quicker pace. In America, revolutions occur very slowly. I don't think you understand this. There's no way Obama could have introduced naked communism to reflect his inner nature, let's say his inner mindset. It had to be done slowly through legislation, and they tried it. Obamacare, that's not Cuban-style medicine. I'd like to know what is. seizing General Motors and still not making a profit? I'd like to know if that's not the nationalization of a major industry, and so forth and so on. So he was on the road to a revolution, meaning he called it transformation, code word revolution. Now you have to understand that had he not lost so big, he would continue. He would have continued down this road. They're not going to continue down this road. They don't have the majority anymore, number one. And number two, wiser elders inside the Democrat Party are suddenly aware, and they've probably been aware now for quite a while, that he was going to wreck the Democrat Party by swinging them so far off course, so far off the center. Let's put it to you that way. Many wise Democrats listen to the Savage Nation because they know that I'm going to give them what I think is an educated opinion as to what the American people actually think. Don't underestimate something about this audience. Irrespective of whether or not you think it's this or that, it doesn't matter what you think. It's the third largest radio show in the United States of America. My book, Trickle Up Poverty, went up to number 2 on the Wall Street Journal, New York Times lists without any advertising to speak of and without any appearances on even Fox News. How do you explain that? And so therefore, you have a new respect, I have a new respect. Who listens to this show? I have no idea. I really don't know. How do you really know when it's so many people? Do you really know? What do you have a mind? You ask me a question, Michael, when you're sitting there in your studio with your dog, wherever you may be doing your show, who do you think is listening? Do you have a mind image of them? Where are they? Are they in a car on the Cross Bronx Expressway listening on WOR? Where are they? Who's listening to you? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I actually don't have a figure in my head. It's a strange phenomenon. I don't know who's listening. I don't know who you are. So how do I reach you? How is it I'm able to connect with you? How? What is this magic that I speak to you in a room alone? I'm on a microphone alone. No one is here with cue cards. No one's got a teleprompter for me. I'm speaking from the heart. I'm using all of my education and knowledge. And through the magic of satellite technology, in a millisecond, my voice goes across wires. It goes up to Oregon. It goes from Oregon up into the sky. It comes down from the sky in a split second, a millisecond, a quantum second. It's transmitted into radio stations, and it's in your ear. How is this possible? But more than how is it possible, how do I connect with you? Why do you listen to the show, I ask myself. I don't know the miracle. I don't know the miracle. I don't know the magic, but I know this. I have it, and you have it, and the Democrats have lost it. Whatever they may have had with their control of Katie Couric and her court jesters, those days are over. Now, during today's press conference, I was amazed to see some of the vermin in the media standing up to Obama. But, I mean, in a way, it was very nice to see, but they had the guts all of a sudden. They almost had the guts to stand up to him. Here's a woman I never heard of from NBC named Savannah Guthrie. Listen to this 125.
You don't seem to be reflecting or second-guessing any of the policy decisions you've made, instead saying the message the voters were sending was about frustration with the economy, or maybe even chalking it up to a failure on your part to communicate effectively. If you're not reflecting on your policy agenda, is it possible voters can conclude you're still not getting it?
Well, okay, you see what I mean? You're still not getting it. This woman is not going to be long for NBC because no doubt the bosses are all Democrats. They're not going to like it, but she's good. She stood up to him. Then there was a guy named, I don't know his name, from CNN. It's unimportant. I was shocked. Play the CNN guy. That's a good one.
You had a lot of fun on the campaign trail by saying that the Republicans were drinking a Slurpee and sitting on the sidelines while you were trying to pull the car out of the ditch. But the point of the story was that you said if you want to go forward, you put the car in D. If you want to go backwards, you put it in R. Now that there are at least 60 House districts that seem to have rejected that message, is it possible that there are a majority of Americans who think your policies are taking us in reverse? And what specific changes will you make?
All right. Well, a good question. Very, very testy and challenging for a CNN guy. Maybe he will now be hired by the opposition because he stood up to Obama. So they're starting now to stand up to this president, and he'll be gone. As you know, Hillary is collecting mud masks in Papua New Guinea. It's very nice. I collected the best ones 25 years ago. There are none left. What the heck is she doing in Papua New Guinea? Does anyone understand the phenomenon of Hillary Clinton, the heir apparent to Obama, is in Papua New Guinea? Why is this? Well, I don't think you have to be a political genius to know that she's hiding so that no one can associate her with the current administration. But Papua New Guinea, that's amazing to me. I mean, it's not even France. It's not even France. Let's go to some of the callers. I don't know. Where shall I begin? What do you think? Oh, no, I have a better sound on. Never mind where we should begin. Here's what I want to do. John Boehner gave a speech that was very moving. He cried during the victory speech, and normally I ridicule men who cry in public. I think it's uncalled for. I think it's effeminate. But this time I didn't ridicule him because I was touched by the reality of this man's struggles and what he must be feeling. Listen to this.
I spent my whole life chasing the American dream. Listen, I let a lot of you know I started out mopping floors, waiting tables, and tending bar at my dad's tavern. I put myself through school, working every rotten job there was, and in every night shift I could find. And I poured my heart and soul into running a small business.
Beautiful. It's just beautiful. But listen to what he's saying. Listen to the next one.
And when I saw how out of touch Washington had become with the core values of this great nation, I put my name forward and ran for office. So I'm going to thank my wife, Debbie, my girls, Lindsay and Tricia, my 11 brothers and sisters, and all my friends and neighbors in Ohio for giving me the chance to serve and the opportunity to stand before you ready to lead. Thank all of you. God bless you, and God bless our great country.
Oh, thank God that we have him coming in and the other ones going out. What a difference in human beings. He spent his whole life chasing the American dream, started out mopping floors, waiting tables, put himself through school. I can relate to every word he just said, working every rotten job there was, on and on and on. Then he has 11 brothers and sisters. He's blessed with that, I can tell you that. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. But here's a man who comes from a real American family that's large. He knows what they're going through. He's not an elitist, wasn't born into power, wasn't born into money, was not willing to dump on people like they were pigeons to be thrown off a roof. It was amazing to me, the difference between her and what we have now. Listen to this, and you'll see what I mean.
I never stop whipping. There's no beginning, there's no middle, and there's no end. My life is a constant whip operation.
Can you believe what we lived through? Can you believe the harridan that has been running the I think we've said enough. I look forward to John Boehner. I know he's not an arch conservative. I wouldn't expect it. But the fact is that he's a realist, he's a real man, and he knows what the average man feels, unlike Nancy Pelosi, who never met one in her life. And if she did, she'd probably have him arrested under suspicion of something. If Nancy Pelosi ever ran into an average man, I think she'd probably have him arrested. Sacramento, James, welcome to the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, people actually think that the Republicans are there for them. They better think twice. And you know, when the Tea Party started up, Sarah Palin was still governor of Alaska. Now, she wasn't even involved in the Tea Parties. She quit Alaska. She joined with Fox News, became a political consultant, and then she jumped on this Tea Party bandwagon, and I don't see anything there. And believe me, she didn't impress me.
James, are you a member of a Tea Party? Is that where you're coming from?
I am just an American citizen. I am American. I am affiliated with no party. I am a declined state. That's how I read.
So you feel no confidence whatsoever in the Republican Party? You feel they're going to do the same thing they did before?
No, sir. John Boehner. Let's remember, people, that he was high up in the party 4 years ago when they lost power, and in 2008 he voted on that huge rip-off bill that Bush signed.
Which bill? Wait, which bill did he vote for?
The one right before the 2008 election.
What bill was it?
Banks.
Well, I don't know which bill you're referring to. I'm going to give Boehner a chance, though. Wouldn't you say it's an improvement over Pelosi?
It's an improvement, sir, but, you know, they...
Well, all right, say, look, we got to take what we can get here, James. I mean, we just missed the fanatic